NASCAR considers taking over another historic Los Angeles sports stadium, and Richard Childress Racing makes even more changes to Kyle Busch's pit crew. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. I'm coming to you from Phoenix, Arizona. Please don't mind the mess. I honestly didn't even try to make the bed this morning. I'll be heading to the racetrack later this afternoon. If you stop by the NASCAR Experience stage at 3 p.m. today or 12:30 p.m. tomorrow, you can see me and Brennan Poole do a live Power Hour podcast recording. We should have some time before and after the shows to meet up with fans, talk a little racing. Should be a great time. I'm looking forward to that. Again, I'll be heading to the racetrack as soon as I'm done with this video, but we've got some big stories to break down, to analyze, to unpack before the green flag flies this weekend. Let's start with a report from the Sports Business Journal. Yesterday, the SBJ reported that NASCAR has discussed racing at Dodger Stadium sometime in the coming years. Yeah, going from football to a baseball stadium now, for those of you who aren't following. This report comes off the heels of NASCAR President Steve Phelps telling Fox just last month that there won't be a gap year. NASCAR will race in Southern California in 2025. Nobody expects the LA Coliseum to return to the schedule. Auto Club Speedway won't be reconstructed until at least 2026. So NASCAR Southern California options are very limited. It sounds like they're considering defiling a second historic Los Angeles sports stadium. Look, I get their aggression. NASCAR needs to be in Southern California. It's a major market. It's a major media market. It's too valuable to ignore. And Dodger Stadium, I've never been, heard great things. It's a beautiful, historic sports venue. It's close to the city. And you know, the shape of the baseball diamond could lead to an interesting track configuration. Maybe not a straight up, Martinsville paperclip style oval. Maybe there's like a diamond or like a triangle, tri-oval shape. I must admit, I'm at least curious to see what that kind of track would look like. Could Cup cars fit around those tight confines? And if this were to work, it would open up even more opportunities for NASCAR to race in other cities across the country or even across the world. So I don't hate this idea, but how on earth are you going to sell this to the public? Hey, you, come watch a NASCAR Cup Series race inside of a historic LA sports stadium. Wait, you see the problem? We've done this already. We've been doing it for 3 years now. I mean, if you're going to do it again, honestly, you might as well go back to the Coliseum. You have history there. You know it works. There's a proven track record. Honestly, I don't think a race at Dodger Stadium is worth the investment. I just wish they'd make up their mind on Auto Club Speedway. That's where your money should be going. I understand the pandemic was a thing. Inflation was and still is a thing. But it took them 2 extra years to start tearing things down at Auto Club Speedway. They sold off almost all the land. There's barely enough space to squeeze a short track in there. If they're going to build a short track at Auto Club Speedway, I wish they'd just get started. The odds of things getting cheaper over time are probably not great. If NASCAR is going to race in Los Angeles next year and it's going to race at a completely different venue, I wish they'd do something completely different. A street race? Is that possible? Because I think that would be awesome. The configuration will be a little different. I love baseball, so I do love that crossover, but a second Los Angeles stadium race just doesn't really excite me. And if it doesn't really excite me, I'm not sure it's going to excite the general public you're hoping to attract. I just hope this Auto Club Speedway project does finally get off the ground and we can have a new, legitimate short track on the Cup Series schedule in the next couple of years. Moving on, though, let's talk about some major pit crew changes for Kyle Busch and his number 8 RCR team. After Daytona, they replaced the Jackman, brought someone new in. Now they're bringing in their 3rd Jackman of the year, only 4 races in. You can check out this tweet here from Bob Pockris, but Doug Warwick will be the new Jackman, while tire changers Michael Johnson and Shiloh Windsor will join the team. They're also tire changers in the Xfinity Series. Holy moly, not even 4 races in, and half the team has been shuffled about at this point. Look, I respect Richard Childress Racing for being aggressive here. The issues that have plagued this team the past few weeks are unacceptable. Go back to Daytona. On one pit stop, they got a safety violation while simultaneously weren't able to get enough fuel in the car. Later in the race, during a different pit stop, the left front tire was left loose. Kyle Busch had to nurse it around the apron. Luckily, the wheel didn't fall off, but cost them a ton of track position. A lot of issues at Daytona. Atlanta, if I recall, the only issue was Kyle Busch himself speeding on pit road. Okay, gotta fix that. But then Las Vegas, more issues plagued the team. Again, Kyle Busch was at fault for some of them. I mean, he slid through the pit box. It was over the front line, but the pit crew should have known to back him up before servicing the car and getting a pitting outside the box penalty. So several penalties, some driver mistakes, tons of issues on pit road for the 8 team that didn't cost him too badly at Daytona and Atlanta. Drafting tracks, the pack, he was able to work his way back towards the front. But at Las Vegas, that issue on pit road absolutely screwed Kyle Busch out of a top 5 finish. They threw that away. So like I was saying, I respect and appreciate Richard Childress Racing being aggressive. This is professional sports. You need results. You need results now. But I am worried that so many changes so suddenly, could affect the team's chemistry. Think about it. If you're on that team now, you're looking over your shoulder knowing that you're one mistake away from getting fired or demoted at the very least. How does that affect morale? I mean, and you've given these guys only a week or two together, a bunch of new guys coming in, the chemistry isn't great, could easily lead to more mistakes. Things are going to happen on pit road. Chris Buescher, completely different team and manufacturer. They had a wheel fly off the car last week. Things are going to happen. Mistakes are going to be made. I think it would be in Richard Childress Racing's best interest to stick with this group for at least a few weeks. If they make some mistakes here and there, so be it. Let them figure each other out. Take some of that pressure, some of that weight off their shoulders. You hired these guys. They must be good. Let them show you what they've got. I know it sucks to throw races away early on, but it is a long season. You need these guys to get reps with each other. So I hope going forward, Richard Childress doesn't overreact and the team doesn't make any more sudden pit crew changes, at least for a few weeks. Give them some time to figure each other out. One final story I'd like to discuss. With all the Honda to NASCAR rumors swirling the past couple of weeks, John Probst, NASCAR's chief racing development officer, was on SiriusXM NASCAR radio this past week and discussed what the timeline may look like for a 4th manufacturer to join the NASCAR Cup Series. Probst said, quote, "If a new OEM did want to come in 2026, we are within a few months of us getting to the point where you almost start running out of time to go through all the steps that we have today. If all the stars align, it is possible you could do it quicker than 18 months. It would take a lot of effort and frankly, a little bit of luck to get everything to line up perfectly to do that. Certainly, 2026 or 2027 would be pretty ideal years for an OEM that would be looking to come to our sport right now to make a launch." That tracks with what we discussed last week. Yeah, there's no chance Honda is going to be on track in 2025, if ever. I still don't want to get too far ahead of myself. I feel like we're jinxing it. I'd love to see a 4th manufacturer. I'd love to see Honda. If Honda ever were to go NASCAR Cup Series racing, 2025, that deadline passed months, if not years ago. It's just not happening. But 2026? Maybe. 2027? Perhaps even more likely. Matt Weaver compiled a lot of these quotes from John Probst for a piece with Sportsnaut. I'll put a link to that article down in the description below. Probst also made comments that suggest additional electric features could be coming to NASCAR Cup Series engines in the not-so-distant future. Specifically, Probst was asked if the traditional V8 pushrod engine will change in the near future, and Probst said, "Yeah, certainly. One thing that is common in our approach to just about everything now on the technical and the competition side is we leave all our options open and we try not to close any doors." Now, Weaver points this out in his article, and we've talked about this quite a bit in recent weeks, but I wouldn't expect battery-powered electric vehicles to take over the NASCAR Cup Series probably ever. NASCAR has shown already that they are very interested in exploring hydrogen combustion technologies that would keep the internal combustion engine around and would keep the loud rumble of the cars alive that we all know and love. But the door is open for more technical, more electrical components to be added to these cars in the years to come. Electronic fuel injection was introduced like a decade ago. In some ways, we're overdue for more changes. It sounds like more are coming soon, which is why John Probst says, quote, "The timing has probably never been better for an OEM to consider coming into our sport. Design a body, develop an engine, bada bing, bada boom, you're ready to go racing." Obviously, that's a gross oversimplification. Like I've said all along, if Honda or any additional OEM were to come into the sport, it would likely line up with some new technology being introduced. The way John Probst is talking there, everything seems to be lining up for a Honda to NASCAR entry in 2026, or maybe more realistically 2027. Still just a rumor, nothing confirmed, but I continue to like where things are headed. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Technology changes. NASCAR has to stay relevant to what's on the streets, what people are driving day to day. If they're able to keep that roar, that rumble, it sounds like they're trying to, then hopefully everyone will be happy. Yeah, everyone being happy with a NASCAR decision. Yeah, that might be the most naive thing I've ever said. Anyway, we talked about a lot in this episode. Share your thoughts down in the comment section below. Again, I apologize for the more stripped down bare studio. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video anyways. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. We talk NASCAR every day, every week, all year long, whether I'm at home or on the go. We don't miss a day pretty much. Huge thank you to my Patreon supporters as well. Hope to see y'all at the track over the next couple of days. Have a wonderful rest of your week, folks. I will see you again real soon.